Okay, so I imagine that most of you watching this video are kind of like me. You're a solo shooter who's progressed from being a hobbyist up to professional work, and with that growth, your gear grows as well. And getting into Sony can be very expensive. There is a massive tax on Sony. And to some extent, I do agree that it's worth it because you do get a lot for your money. But at the same time, damn, it is a lot of money that you have to spend out. Since I got my first FX30, and I knew from then that I was going to be a Sony shooter because it did make my life so easy in terms of autofocus and IBIS and stuff like that. Everything just worked well for me. And I did my Sony Cinematic Beast video, and just a test reel kind of thing to see how well Sony would perform in all different scenarios, and it didn't let me down. And from that moment, I knew that I was going to be sucked in. So I bought a second FX30, but I sold that on, and then I ended up buying a couple of FX6s in that time. So it's a lot of money that got spent with Sony in the last, 8-9 months or so. And I don't regret it at all. I love everything about them. And when you're shooting in professional environments with TV stars and all that kind of stuff, you do feel a sense of, you've kind of arrived, if that makes sense. That sounded so cheesy. Okay, but yeah, anyway. With that, there comes Sony tax, and you have to pay that Sony tax. I was recently at Pinewood Studios looking at the Sony Burano, and I really do want to get a Burano, so I want to put in a pre-order at some point soon. Bypass Red completely and just go straight into Sony, into the higher end. And it was great. I had a great experience there. The camera's amazing, the IBIS, the electronic VNDs, and also meeting Alistair Chapman, like the king of Sony, basically, It was a really good day, and it just gave me more confidence in the Sony ecosystem and what I could do with it in the future. But as I said, the Sony tax is high, man. It's a high price you've got to pay. When you start going into full frame cameras, you're going to see the money just start draining out of your pocket. And a lot of people say, well, if you can afford to buy 2 FX6s, then surely you can afford to buy cages and lenses and that kind of stuff. And I don't really agree with that. The camera, of course, is one of the things that you need, but it's still only a tool, and a tool that needs many other tools to work. So if I can save a little bit of money here and there, then I'm all for that. And I first started out with my first FX6 with tilter. And I bought the tilter top plate, and I got a couple of rod rails at the back as well. And I thought this would be the way to go, but to be honest, I don't really like tilter. I don't really like the proprietary system. I don't really like the way that things mount. Even with my tilter rotating handle, I can't even use it on this one. I have to buy a new one just to use it. I don't understand why tilter make things so hard. I've got a full tilter cage on my FX30, and I will be replacing that very soon. So the one I want to talk about now is this SMALLRIG cage here. Now, I saw this SMALLRIG cage on a Instagram reel. Some guy was building it up, and I just thought, you know what, this solves every single problem that I have. Even when we talk about the V-mount at the back, which can slide up and down, it's different to the tilter one, which you have to screw into the back hole here, this hole right here. And once you've screwed it in, you can't move it. And if you want to go onto a gimbal or something like that, then it's going to start causing you problems. So just little things like that, you can kind of understand why I didn't want to invest in a tilter ecosystem. So SMALLRIG sent me this cage. I was actually going to buy it. I had it in my cart at CVP, but then I thought, let me reach out to SMALLRIG and see if they'll send me one. And they did send me one, and it's amazing. So I'm going to show you how it is built up now, and I'm going to show you some things what I really like about it, and then we can just get to the end of the video. Okay, so let's look at the parts first, what the cage comes with. And it comes with 5 separate pieces: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the most important part is the top plate here. And you can see on the top plate, we've got these '20s here with the lock-in holes, and that's for the original Sony monitor that comes with the FX6. Then we've got some '20s all down the side here and down this side. The cable tie or cable holder, cable clamp, was taken off of the FX6 and screws directly onto the top plate. On this side, we've got another bunch of '20s. Let me get that a bit closer so you can see. All on the side here with some locking holes here, and you'll see what these are for in a second. And on the rear, we've got the V-mount plate, '20s here as well. Then we have the bottom plate here, and the bottom plate has got 2 '20 screws in, and we've got a 3/8 here, and if you want to attach a different tripod plate or whatever, you've got some more holes here. You've got your magnetic screwdriver, and on this side, you've got a Allen key. for your 1/4-20s. And that's it roughly for that. Oh, not forgetting the front, we've got some 1/4-20s here. So if you've got a lens mount or some sort of rail system, you can put it on the front here as well. I'll be showing you the rail system which I use. Then we've got the V-mount plate, and I love this V-mount plate. So as I said, with the tilter one is locked in place. But with the SMALLRIG, if you unlock the rail system here, the NATO rail from the back, then you can move your V-mount battery up and down. So you can just leave it hooked in the top and then put in a normal BPU battery underneath, which is absolutely amazing. And then we have the side mount. Now this one's absolutely amazing because you can put this at the front of the camera or for the rear. And this is absolutely amazing. And I'm going to show you why this is so important for you FX6 users who use a shoulder rig. And finally, we have a V-mount cable that has the correct transformer in to transfer it to DC barrel jack straight into your camera. Okay, so for this one, we're going to use the Allen key that comes with the SMALLRIG plate. So let me just take that out. And then let's get the top plate on first. So that's the top plate on there. Now we'll put the bottom plate on. And now for this one, we're going to use the tool that came with the SMALLRIG cage and then just screw this on. And now I'll put this back with the magnets. And now we'll put on the side plate. And as I said, the side plate can be put on the rear here, or you can actually put it on the front too, right here. But I'm going to put it on the rear. And last but not least, we'll put on the V-mount. So let's loosen that again. Put this over, and then put this over here. And then we're just going to screw these down. And that's it, we are done. Nice, easy setup there. Right, so what I was saying about this side plate. Now, what a lot of people don't know, that if you use one of those arms, the extension arms with the adapter that goes in here, if you put too much pressure on this port here, which is connected to the chassis inside the camera, and you put too much pressure with your lens and that kind of stuff, you will actually rip the mount from your chassis inside. That repair is very expensive. So the best way to go about not breaking your camera is just to get an Arri rosette and then just screw it to the side here, yeah? And then you can put your extension arm. If you want to move this plate to the front and then have your Arri rosette here, then no problem. If you want to have one up the top here as well, you can just get one of these L-shaped Arri rosettes, and you can put one of these on right here as well, just at the top here. So you've got multiple options. And the funny thing is that when you're using this cage, because of the mounts at the side, and then you just use any old brand Arri rosette, you can even use the old tilter handle, which you can't even use on the tilter cage, which is crazy. With the V-mount can go up and down. So if I loosen that, you can slide it up, and then you can put your BPU battery straight in the back. And then you can use your BPU. And if you don't want to use a BPU, just take the BPU out, slide this down, lock it, and then you can put on a V-mount battery straight on the back there. So I really love this system for that type of modularity and what you can do. We've got a mic holder on the side here for your Rode Wireless Goes and all that kind of stuff, or shotgun mic or whatever you want. So imagine if you break your shotgun mic mount that's on the FX6 handle, you can actually just mount one just here, no problem. And as I said before, we've got the V-mount to DC. So if I just pull this down, plug in the V-mount, you can see the light come on there, and then we can just go straight into the DC port in the back of the camera, like so. And then you can get power on your camera right there. Fantastic little setup this is. So we've got these 1/4-20s here, which I'll probably use for some sort of lens mount or something there. But what I use is a cheap little £10 rail adapter here. And I've just got some long 1/4-20 screws going through the middle. So I actually mount these directly to the cage. And there you can see my rail system. So that's it, nothing fancy. I just wanted to show you guys who own an FX6, the small rig cage, and it is absolutely amazing. This is it in my little run and gun kind of setup when I want to do a quick run and gun with no audio, and it's absolutely amazing. Small rig, thank you so much for sending this to me. I really appreciate your kindness. You know, in the emails and stuff, you've been very kind to me, and I just want to, just say thank you so much. And guys, all of you that like, share, subscribe, and all that kind of good stuff, thank you so much as well, because without you, I wouldn't get any of this stuff. So take care, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Oh, and a link for the cage is down below. See you on the next one. Later.